Hey, my name is Kenny. Thank you for checking out this video. Today's video is going to be all about the 92 Banshee that I picked up in the middle part of West Virginia. We're going to see what we're going to do to this thing and talk about its future plans. All right, everyone, thank you for hitting that like button and subscribe. The 92 Banshee is one of the quads that I've been looking for a while. So I haven't actually been looking for a 92. I've just been looking for a Banshee in general. I wanted the A-arms up front, and this one is pretty clapped. That's why this is going to be amazing for the transformation that we're going to be doing on this channel. So we have this Banshee that we picked up for, if you want to know the price of it, you're going to have to wait to the end of the video. But we picked this Banshee up for what I think is an okay deal in my area. I know different places, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, those things tend to range in price. So my area, I didn't think that it was a bad deal. It was a couple $100, maybe $1,200 less than anything that I've seen anywhere else. So I do know that I had it on my some work on my hands. The guy didn't advertise this to be some amazing machine. He did state that it was going to be a project and need some work. So we're going to just take a look at it. You see, first thing, it is longer than what is usual. So it has an extended swing arm on the rear. We're going to probably go back to a stock one. We're going to get some new plastics. I don't like the extended tank, but we'll decide what I'm going to do with that later on. But let's get this camera flipped around and get some closer looks at things. So yeah, Banshee. So if you don't know what they are, I really don't know where you've been. Banshees are like an iconic quad. I mean, they're out there in a league of their own. They're old. They stopped making them in the mid 2000s, I'm thinking. We'll post a range here. But when they stopped making these, people just love them. They love the platform, they love the frame, they love the motor that's in there. Banshees, she's, I've seen people make YF, she's, and things like that, but these things are hard to come by, and the people who have them really build these up to be great, amazing machines. So there's a couple that I've been keeping my eye out for, basically a Banshee. I would like to see do a Quadzilla, and I would also like to do a TRX 250R. But this is my first she, and I really don't do two strokes, so I'm going to have my hands cut out for me. I like the 4 strokes, I like the power delivery. But let's get this flipped around and we're going to talk about what we're going to be changing and what we're going to be doing. Okay, so here we are, motors in there complete and everything. When we start up front, I am going to replace the plastics. There are some cracks in on some stickers and things like that. So with a restoration to the level that I'm going to do, it's going to require all new plastics and everything. This is on here, looks all right. Plastics in the back have been cut, no bolts in them, kind of just on there dangling. Seat has been eaten, which is fine. Seat covers, foams, those things are simple fixes in my opinion. And this huge tank, I'm not really sure who makes this tank, but it is big. I'm going to probably get rid of it and go back with the stock size tank, as well as the stock plastics that go over them. I'm not really a fan of that yellow in there like that. Anything that I do as far as colors, that's just going to clash with, so we're going to get that replaced out. The shocks, don't really have much rebound, and they're so basic. So I'm going to look at seeing what I can do to get this a lot better, not just a little bit, but a lot. So in my other quads, I've never really focused on suspension. I've kind of just left them stock for the most part because it's done well for me. But in this one, I think I'm going to go the extra step, and I'm going to look at some good shocks up front. Everyone recommends Elka. Everyone recommends Fox floats on different things. And there's some guy online, Rocket Ron suspension maybe. People talk about sending parts out to him and getting the shocks rebuilt. But I am going to redo those. The back one really isn't much better. You'll see when I hop on it, we get this thing started in a bit. We do have the motor in there full and looking good. I'm not sure if these are OEM bolts or screws, but we're going to get those cleaned up. Probably get those completely changed out. Not really sure who the cylinders or anything are made by, what kind of kit's in here. It does look like it has genuine Keenan carbs in it. So hopefully they're genuine, and hopefully the jetting is okay. The frame will be powder coated. Said my hands are cut out for me on this one. I'm not really stressed about it at all because I've seen worse and I know what I can do as far as these quads go. The front tires, Dunlop, they do look like they have decent tread left on them, so I'll probably either keep them for something else or I'll keep them on this quad. There are 21s in the front. Now the A-arms have an eerily familiar look to them. I would say they're Alba, just by the design and how they look and everything. They're not bent, they don't have any mix or anything in them. So we'll probably just reuse those if we can, but we're gonna powder coat all this. Looks like we got a DG front bumper that has seen better days, as well as a frame, but the frame is gonna be the easy thing. Take everything off, send it off, powder coat makes the frame look new again. But before we do that, we're just gonna make sure nothing's broke. We're gonna get rid of any tabs and things that we don't want on there. I am gonna get new foot pegs. These are relatively skinny and they're tweaked a little bit, so those are going to get new. Now I don't know if I'm going to need to get a new brake lever or anything, maybe some new bushings, or I might as well just look for another one of those when I'm out. I'm not really sure how a DG performs, so we got the full DG exhaust coming out the back. I'm not really sure how those are going to perform. Say Kickstart, oil, 1500. I mean, I am very excited about this. What is that up there? It's like a boost bottle. I don't really know what those are. Some people, you know, recommend them, some don't. Some take them off, some don't. But we're going to figure that out with this one. Oh, ODI grips. That's a plus. We're going to take this out. We'll restore all of this stuff. You know, I might actually just not make that OEM. I do like the LTR brake levers as well, so I might just buy use one of those and actually take it apart, disassemble it, clean it up, and make it for this machine, and figure out what we're going to do over here for the clutch lever. Make something a little bit more smooth, more fun for us. Shifter might remain the same. Obviously, like I said, its seat is chewed up. Now we have the 4 snow tires. I mean, you know, might keep those just for the winter, of course. It's extended, but I do not know how long. I don't know much on that. So like a stock shock in the back, linkage and everything. Don't really know much, but we will go through all this together. Does not have a rear bumper. Plenty of areas that things could bolt into. I assume the OEM, like foot guards and maybe like a chain slide. There's different things that I assume belong here, but they're just not. We have the sprocket guard, brakes, extended cable. I mean, a lot of things back here. The axle looks like it's nice and straight, but we're gonna have our work cut out for us. So I say this is the good. It's a complete machine, everything's here. There's some things that I'm going to have to work with and fix. However, everything is here. It's a complete machine. Yeah, fix the seat, buy new plastics. Those are all things that I expected to do anyways when I make it mine. Shocks, I understand, and I was going to replace those. I'm going to be exploring what I'm going to do as far as wheels and tires and how far I'm going to go into the motor. I do want to put a quality kit into the motor, but if it runs right now, I'll debate whether or not I'm going to go in that. I do know I've read that some people have stock boring things and create great power, but a lot of people do that, like 4mm stroker. And I'm just not sure where I'm going to go with that, because overall this machine is something that I'm going to trail ride more than anything. All of my machines I trail ride. So if you've all followed my channel before, I have the LTR that I'm building back there. It is going to be more of a trail machine that I'm probably not going to keep just because I have a Banshee now. The hybrid is very fast and it's not really trail friendly. However, it's super fast, and you know, so I don't know if I'm just going to do something more on the trail side of this. Going back to something like a 19 or yeah, about a 19 or a 20-inch tire, squeezing the back in, rebuilding the motor from bottom up. So I plan on splitting the cases just to make sure everything in there looks good before I take this thing ripping. Splitting the cases, motor up, rebuild, changing bolts and screws and everything like that that's in there. Put a nice quality top end kit on it. See if I'm going to replace the exhaust or if I'm going to run the DG. These are all plans that I have for this machine. and I just want to keep you all in the loop. It's going to be a couple months until we get this thing actually worked on. I still have my son's Raptor 250 that we're going to be working on. I still have the LTR that I need to get the head put on, and I don't want to have many machines apart when I work on this. I just want to put all of my attention on this. So what we're going to do is go ahead into the house, look at the box with the extra parts in it that the guy gave us. Just a couple parts, nothing crazy, and see what I might use and what I might not use on this build. And then we're going to come out, get this thing started over for us, and let you all know what I paid for it. See if I can get in here and get these parts looked at before my wife comes out. All right, so he gave us some Vito's gaskets. Right here is a larger gasket as well. I would assume it is like the case side cover or something. Gaskets. Looks like there's some Yamaha front chain slider. I'll see if this is something that I can use. The minced garlic did not come in the box. Some seals from some sort. I'm gonna see what those fit on. Some more wheel bearing seals. The stock airbox with the boots. I would assume he put Vito's pistons in it and rings. There's a stock coil. Not sure why they replaced it or took it out, but maybe they were having issues with it. No play crank. So, you know, we'll see what that has to hold or what's in there. No good cable. Looks like we have a new Motion Pro cable, as well as a gripper seat cover. So plenty of parts that I'm going to be using or figuring out as we go through this. All right, so those were a couple of the parts, or all the parts that he had given us. So it's not a whole bunch. As I stated, we are going to have our work cut out for us. It is going to be fun, and we're going to do this all together. So if you're asking why am I going to put the stock airbox back on, is because I stated in the beginning that I do more trail riding than anything else. So it's not going to be really a good idea for me to be out on trails, and I like to ride like the day or two after rain. So if it's raining, the trail isn't going to be all dusty. It's not going to be all crazy. It's going to be tacky, but that is going to be a higher probability of me getting these exposed air filters clogged up, and I don't want that. So just having the airbox there with the open lid, it just gives me some side protection, and I can get plenty of ventilation from top, but the side protection is what I'm going to be looking for. Yeah, you see the side, the unis sit on there and they look real good and they're sitting there and they're pretty. However, when it comes down to actual purpose, it's just not going to do what I need it to do. So those are going to all get replaced, and we're going to put the stock box back on. So I mean, all that is the good things, right? We have a complete machine. We have a plan of what we're going to be doing. I am going to have my wife help me pick out some colors. Just one of those, you know, together things, which isn't going to hurt anything. And we have a couple parts, and those parts that we need are in there. So we are going to have the airbox. We know that we're going to set this up for trail. We're probably thinking we're going to shorten it in a little bit, and we're going to be ordering plastics and going that route. So I paid $3,800 for this machine. In my area, I haven't found anything running or not running for under $5,000. A lot of places, they're wanting over $2,500 for a frame. So $3,800 has gotten me this machine that actually runs, floats or stuck in it at some issue or something, because when you turn the gas on, it will leak gas. So you'll make sure you get that cut back off. But we're going to get this started up. And the guy who we purchased it from had it starting when I got there. I've started it up once since I've had it home, but he also stated that it seems to want to only fire on one cylinder. I haven't really investigated that yet, whether the coil's bad, whether the stator's bad. I haven't really investigated that. I would think the stator wouldn't be bad, because typically I haven't ran with a twin cylinder before. I would think that either you're going to get signal for a spark or you're not. I'm not sure if the stator receives the signal from, you know, the stator gives a signal from two different ones. So maybe one side is bad, one side is not, or if all that signal comes to the coil and the coil's bad. I'm not really sure what I'm dealing with here yet, but that is the bad. It just doesn't fire on both cylinders. And he stated that you could take the plug off and switch the plugs, and this pipe would heat up when you had the plugs on the right side. When you swap the plugs to the other side would heat up. So it sounds like it follows. The plugs are good, but the problem follows a certain coil wire. On the other side, he did say that it was like an eBay special, so like a $35 coil pack. So that isn't going to help anything. So what I'm probably going to do is find an OEM one, put that on there anyways, because I try not to run any of that Chinese stuff on my machines just because they fail and they have issues, and sometimes they don't carry the voltage as they should. But boom, let's get it started. Clapped. All right, so you saw a startup. You saw that it only had exhaust coming out of the left side over there. I'm going to switch the plugs, start it again, or switch the wires, start it again, and see if that same thing happens. So we can see in there, yeah, this pipe is cold. I'm just gonna pull this one straight up, off. Simply switch the coil wires, and we're going to start it up and see if this side has the exhaust or if it's the other side. So you saw that the exhaust continued to come out of the left side and not the right side. So what I am inclined to feel is that the coil pack is fine. However, it is still an eBay one with super long wires. I am going to swap that out with the OEM one and see if I can still get it to fire as it did. Swap the plugs and make sure it still works. If the OEM coil still works, maybe they switched this one out just because they thought that this was the issue. It's not so far. So we're going to swap those coil packs out at a later time to just see if that's what we're going to have an issue with. Then the other thing we'll be doing is checking for compression and checking for gas, or checking the carburetor and making sure the pilot jet isn't stuck and we're getting fuel to it. If you're not getting any fuel to it, first off, you're going to blow it. So maybe I shouldn't start it up too many more times until I know it's getting some fuel in it and the piston is lubricated. So all right, everyone, this concludes this video. This is going to be a build that's going to be amazing moving forward. We're going to take this thing apart probably in the next few videos, but that's going to be in months. And we're going to reassemble this thing piece by piece and restore everything and get it looking absolutely amazing. Thank you for checking out this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.